When AOC and Ted Cruz are on the same side of an issue, you know you messed up. I'll say it again. Somebody's gotta go to jail. Can you say class action lawsuit? He screwed over his own users and destroyed his own company to save the suits. And that's not even the biggest issue here. What's up, guys? Cut the crap. We're getting straight to the point today. What the heck just happened at Robinhood? I'll be explaining this event as simply as I possibly can, and I also want to talk to you guys about why this matters, why you should care and learn about this even if you don't invest in the stock market at all. I also want to talk about some questions that I didn't have a chance to answer yesterday on my Instagram account, like what are my predictions for what's going to happen next, and also how can we stand up when corruption like this happens. First up, what is a hedge fund? When you hear the words hedge fund, I want you to think rich. In order to invest in a hedge fund, there are stipulations. You have to have at least $1 million in net worth. You have to be an accredited investor, or you have to have a personal income of $200K or $300K if you are married. This group is going to be known as the suits, and this group of people are very, very powerful. Not just powerful because of their money, powerful because they are so incredibly well connected, and they can be very persuasive. Let me ask you a question. If you are in this position, why risk your money when you could potentially leverage your influence and manipulate the market under the table? Do you really think that these suits are just diversifying their funds, crossing their fingers and saying, hope for the best? No. Funds like hedge funds have the ability to do what is called short a stock. Let's get into shorting, and then I'll show you how these two things are tied together. Shorting a stock. What you need to know is that shorting a stock means that someone is betting their money that the price of a certain stock is going to fall. What this looks like in the market is that when someone shorts a stock, they are saying they believe that stock's price is going to fall. That's in layman's terms. In reality, let's say, hypothetically, a hedge fund goes to short a stock. That means that that hedge fund goes and they borrow that stock from a broker or a firm. What they do with that stock, they borrow it and then they sell it. Remember, they believe that the price of that stock is going to drop. So after they sell it, they buy it back at a much lower price. When they buy it back, they can then return it to the original lender and they get to keep the profit. This becomes an ethical issue, and market manipulation is introduced when these suits that are shorting a certain stock, they go and they slander and they smear that business whose stock they are shorting. Remember, shorting, they are betting that that business's stock is going to drop. Remember, the price of the stock has got to fall in order for these suits to make any money. So what happens to a business that makes the stock fall? Maybe the business gets really bad press. Maybe a scandal comes out about the business owner or the business in general. News stories and mainstream media all of a sudden start going after these businesses and talking about how poorly they're doing. This is called market manipulation, and it's very similar to insider information when it comes to the stock market, which is super illegal. Insider information looks like, let's say, hypothetically, Nancy buys $1 million of Tesla stock right before the feds announce that they're going to be using electric cars. Just hypothetically. Now, this is what happened with GameStop stock. It's no secret that GameStop has been going down the last couple of years. It's definitely not as relevant of a business like it was in 2003, 2004, 2005. There's just more and more online games. In a Wall Street hedge fund owned by Melvin Capital shorted GameStop and then held a live stream presentation arguing that the GameStop stock would fall by 50%. And this was reported by the Wall Street Journal. At the same time that this is taking place, there's a Reddit group called Wallstreet Bets, which is a community of approximately 2 million people. And they saw an opportunity to execute what is called a short squeeze, aka this is when a short completely backfires very, very badly, and there's actually no limit to how much money is lost. So this Reddit group says, hold my controller, and they start urging people to buy up GameStop stock on Robinhood. More on that in a second. And sure enough, the short squeeze happens and the stock starts going up. So the suits are forced to start buying up this stock because they're trying to minimize their losses. Remember, the stock isn't there. They borrowed it. They have to return the stock. So when the suits start buying up the stock, this just increases the demand. So the stock price goes up even higher. By Wednesday, GameStop stock had soared to $347 a share, which may not mean too much to you until you look at this graph. By the way, I'm just focusing on GameStop's short. There were many others, so this is how the losses stacked up and became so incredibly ginormous. So Melvin Capital has two options here. Number one, they can just buy back the stock and eat the losses at $300 something a share. That would be just so incredibly detrimental. Or they can choose to wait out the surge. But if they choose to wait, you've got to remember this. This is so important. They borrowed these stocks to begin with. They're not theirs. They have to, at some point, buy them back. And since they're borrowed, they have to pay interest on that amount until they can buy back the stock and return it to the owner. This interest adds up because they shorted a lot of businesses. Since they choose to wait, they need more cash because they're going to be paying interest on all of these shorts while they wait. So the bigwigs over at Melvin Capital call in a couple favors, specifically one at Citadel, and Citadel throws in billions of dollars to try and keep this deal afloat. This is why it is / was so important that the Reddit users didn't sell. It was so important that they held those stocks and continued to buy, driving the price up. If they got greedy, if they started selling some of their shares, that means the price would go back down. The suits could buy back the stock, return it to the owner, and minimize damage. If the Reddit users continued to hold the stocks, continued to buy the stocks, the damage was limitless.
We can't have anyone freak out there, okay?
Up to this point, it's really just a crazy story. I mean, the memes are hilarious. We all laugh and poke the suits. Welcome to capitalism. You win some, you lose some, right? Right? Enter Robinhood. If you're like me, you're probably picturing a walking, talking orange fox that steals from the rich and gives to the poor, but no, we are talking about the app. Robinhood was a commission-free stock trading and investing app. Day traders love this stuff. So something that I didn't know, and what really brought this whole thing together for me, was answering this question: how can Robinhood afford to be commission-free? How do they make any money? Get this. To ensure that trades are commission-free, Robinhood sells these trades to market makers or large firms, the suits. And who, just guess who is Robinhood's biggest customer? Citadel, who is actively bailing out Melvin Capital after their GameStop shorts cost them billions, plural, billions of dollars. I'll link below a couple articles that really go into detail about the relationship between Robinhood and Citadel, but what you need to know here is that this relationship is extremely profitable. And sometimes these companies are caught doing ethically questionable things and they're fined millions of dollars, and this amount just doesn't even touch what they are pocketing. And I'll link those articles below too. We've got this mess of a love triangle between Melvin Capital, Citadel, and Robinhood. And on January 28th, Robinhood said that you cannot buy these stocks that are currently being shorted by the suits. Robinhood literally pulled those stocks from their platform and said you can no longer buy these. That being said, feel free to sell. You can still sell them. They just can't be bought anymore. If no one can buy them, then the price of the stock cannot go up. If you own GameStop stock and you see that the price can no longer go up, no one else can buy this stock any longer, this is a very, very scary place to be. If the price cannot go up, the price can only go down, you are going to lose money if you hold the stock longer than the guy sitting next to you who's weighing the same option. Can you say class action lawsuit? You can't do that. You can't just pull something off the market because it's not going the way that you want it to go. This is the entire premise of the stock market. It is supply and demand. No one owns it. No one inherently controls it. When they took those stocks off of their platform, they changed the rules mid-game. Vladimir, the owner of Robinhood, when he did that, when he removed those stocks from Robinhood, he said, I alone determine who makes money and who doesn't. Destroying his entire company in the process, Vladimir said, I don't care. I just don't want these hedge fund owners to lose any more money. He said, I don't care about the little guy. I don't care about the average Joes. This is his own clientele. He said, I don't care. He screwed over his own users and destroyed his own company to save the suits. And that's not even the biggest issue here. The bigger issue here, and why you need to care about what happens, is because when Robinhood did that, when they pulled those stocks off of their platform, they said no one else can buy these stocks. The price has to go down. That set a precedent that when the market goes a certain way, the outcome can actually be bought. Guess what happened next? Other investing platforms started following suit. Ameritrade also started shutting down the ability to buy GameStop stock. Is this the new normal now? Market manipulation can just be shoved down your throat. You have to sit there and just take it. Listen, guys. The people that pulled the strings, that forced Vladimir to completely destroy his own company and manipulate the market right in front of your face in order to save themselves, have also been pulling the strings to control your health, your social interactions, your political future, and now they're controlling your money. They decided on January 28th who made money and who didn't. Somebody's got to go to jail for this. Here's the thing. When AOC and Ted Cruz are on the same side of an issue, you know you messed up. I'll say it again. Somebody's got to go to jail. Robinhood is dead. Vlad killed his own company. And the real question is, was it worth it? However much they paid him, if they threatened him, whatever, was it worth it? A genuine question. I mean, his entire world just got turned upside down in less than 30 days. I got this question yesterday on my Instagram a couple times, and it was basically, what is your prediction? What do you think is going to happen now? And I'll tell you what I'm afraid is going to happen. I'm afraid the suits are going to prevail. I'm afraid they're going to win. They lost at their own game, and they're not going to admit it. They want more, even more restrictions on the free market, which is ridiculous. It's literally just the pot calling the kettle black. These Reddit users band together and did nothing illegal. They bought and held stock. That's it. They simply called out the suits for trying to execute Gamestop. And they were right. Anyway, Robinhood, the app, was most likely just the sacrifice in all of this. It's completely dead. There's no way it's going to survive all of these litigations, and even more so. Besides that, they completely betrayed the very thing that it stood for. Robinhood, stealing from the rich and giving to the poor, like, are you serious? Another question that I got on Instagram yesterday that I liked a lot was, what can we do? How can we stand up to corruption like this when it just feels so big? And like I mentioned earlier, I mean, look around in your life. What is being controlled right now? Your health, your social interactions, your right to free speech, and now your money. Number one, education, actually learning about this stuff. I mean, in reality, this was a relatively small, educated group of people that completely blew up this short. Just imagine what it would be like if just half of America was educated about this kind of stuff. What we could all accomplish together. I've got a playlist, Money Strategies for College Grads, right here on YouTube, and it's 100% free. If you choose to get educated about your money, it will be the most profitable thing you ever do. You don't have to work until you die. You don't even have to wait until you're 65 to retire. There's so many other opportunities that are available for us, but as a country, we're just not educated in what options are out there. Get educated about your options and make your money work for you. Number two, get off mainstream media. If you are still watching CNN or Fox, it's time to wake up. MSM always has an agenda. Always. You heard at the beginning of this video, sometimes their agenda is to destroy businesses' reputation so that they can benefit from shorting a stock. Get off mainstream media. It's not real news reporting. Number three, do not let this scare you away from investing responsibly. I can't tell you how many people I had DM me yesterday saying, I'm scared. What should I do? Should I sell? Should I not? I don't know. Here's my rule for myself. Never do anything in the market, buy, sell, trade, out of fear. That's a big no-no. Facts over fear. I have an IRA, Roth IRA, and I have target date index funds in both, and all of it has steadily increased throughout 2020, and January 28th, 2021 was no different. If you want to learn more about the stock market, definitely start with this video right here. I also take a deep dive into investing in my financial coaching program. Number 4, diversify, diversify, diversify. And I'm not talking about the stock market here. I'm talking about diversifying within your financial strategies. When Ethan and I are financially independent and our goal age is 35 right now, we will have multiple businesses. We will have multiple rental properties, stocks, long-term investments, and superb tax planning. And I don't say all that to just flex. I want to show you what is possible. But you've got to dream big and cut out the excuses. If you learned something new in this video today, I would absolutely love it if you shared it with someone that you know. Remember, education is everything and it starts right now. I'll see you guys in the next one.